Let me tell you what happens when you walk into most supplement shops or scroll through the health section of any online retailer. You are confronted with hundreds of products, each one promising to transform your energy, your immunity, your brain, your sleep, your longevity. Every single one of them has a confident label, a list of benefits, and a price tag that suggests it must be doing something important. Most of them are not doing anything important. The supplement industry is one of the least regulated spaces in healthcare. Companies can make sweeping health claims with minimal evidence. They can put doses in their products that are too small to have any physiological effect and still legally print the benefit on the label. They can combine 15 ingredients in quantities that have never been tested together and call it a revolutionary formula. And people buy them, billions of dollars of them every year. From people who genuinely want to protect their health and have absolutely no framework for knowing what is worth their money and what is not. After 13 years in emergency medicine, I have developed a very specific set of criteria for anything I put into my own body. The evidence has to be substantial. The mechanism has to be biologically plausible. The dose has to match what the research actually used. And the benefit has to be meaningful enough to justify the cost and the habit. What I'm going to share with you today are the 10 supplements that meet those criteria. The ones I personally take or have taken at specific points in my life. Not the ones with the best marketing. Not the ones with the most expensive packaging. The ones with the strongest evidence and the most compelling biological rationale. I'm going to tell you what each one does, why I trust it, and who actually needs it. Because one of the most important things I can tell you is that not everyone needs every supplement on this list. Context matters enormously, and I will be honest about that throughout. My name is Dr. Miles, 13 years in emergency medicine. Let's get into it. This channel exists to give you the kind of honest, evidence-based information that your doctor genuinely does not have time to explain in a standard appointment. If that is something you want more of, hit subscribe right now. It takes 1 second. And if you stay until the end of this video, I'm going to tell you the one supplement that I think most people are wasting their money on, despite it being one of the most popular products on the market. Stay for that. And subscribe now. Let's go. Number 1, vitamin D3 with K2. I am going to start here because vitamin D deficiency is genuinely one of the most widespread nutritional problems in the modern world. And most people either do not know they are deficient or assume that occasional sun exposure is enough to fix it. Here is the reality. Vitamin D is not technically a vitamin. It is a hormone precursor that your body produces when ultraviolet B radiation from sunlight hits your skin. And the conditions required for meaningful production are more specific than most people realize. The sun needs to be high enough in the sky, your skin needs to be exposed without sunscreen for a meaningful period, and you need to be at a latitude where UVB actually reaches the surface in sufficient quantities. For a significant portion of the global population, for most of the year, these conditions are simply not met. Vitamin D receptors exist in virtually every tissue in your body. It regulates immune function, bone density, muscle function, mood, cardiovascular health, and the expression of hundreds of genes involved in inflammation and cellular repair. Deficiency is associated with increased risk of autoimmune disease, cardiovascular disease, certain cancers, depression, and significantly worse outcomes from infectious illness. The reason I take D3 specifically, rather than D2, is that D3 is the form your body produces naturally, and it raises blood levels more effectively. The reason I pair it with K2 is that vitamin D increases calcium absorption, and K2 ensures that calcium gets directed into your bones and teeth rather than depositing in your arterial walls. That pairing matters. Taking high-dose D3 without K2 over a long period is something I would not do personally. The dose I use is between 2,000 and 4,000 IU daily, depending on the season and my recent sun exposure. But ideally, get your blood level tested first. The test is called 25-hydroxyvitamin D, and it tells you exactly where you stand. Number 2, magnesium glycinate. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body. Energy production, muscle contraction, nerve function, blood pressure regulation, blood sugar control, DNA synthesis, and sleep quality. It is one of the most functionally critical minerals in human biology, and the majority of people in the developed world are not getting enough of it. The reason is largely soil depletion. Modern agricultural practices have significantly reduced the magnesium content of crops compared to what our ancestors consumed. You can eat a relatively healthy diet and still be chronically low in magnesium, simply because the food supply does not contain what it once did. The form matters enormously here. Magnesium oxide, which is the cheapest and most commonly used form in budget supplements, has very poor bioavailability. Most of it passes through you without being absorbed. Magnesium glycinate is bound to the amino acid glycine, which dramatically improves absorption and has the added benefit of glycine itself being calming and sleep supportive. I take magnesium glycinate in the evening. The improvement in sleep quality that most people notice within a week or two of starting this is one of the most consistent responses I have seen. And given that sleep quality is one of the most powerful predictors of long-term health outcomes that we have in medicine, that alone justifies it for me. Number 3, omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. I eat oily fish twice a week, but I also take omega-3 supplements because the evidence for EPA and DHA specifically is strong enough that I want to ensure I am hitting therapeutic levels consistently. The mechanism is well established. EPA and DHA get incorporated into cell membranes throughout your body, including your brain, your heart, and your immune cells. They directly reduce the production of inflammatory signaling molecules. And chronic low-grade inflammation is the underlying driver of cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, and most cancers. The cardiovascular evidence is particularly compelling. Multiple large randomized controlled trials have shown meaningful reductions in cardiovascular events with omega-3 supplementation, particularly at higher doses. The brain evidence is equally interesting. DHA makes up a significant proportion of the fat in your brain, and higher omega-3 levels are consistently associated with slower cognitive decline and better mental health outcomes. The key when buying omega-3 supplements is to check the actual EPA and DHA content, not just the total fish oil content. A capsule can say 1,000 milligrams of fish oil and contain only 300 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA. Look for a product where the combined EPA and DHA is at least 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day, and buy from brands that test for heavy metals and oxidation. Number 4, creatine monohydrate. I want to address the misconception immediately. Creatine is not just for bodybuilders. It is one of the most researched supplements in existence, with decades of safety data and an expanding body of evidence that goes far beyond muscle performance. Creatine is stored in your muscles and brain as phosphocreatine, and it is used to rapidly regenerate ATP, your cellular energy currency, during high-intensity effort. Supplementing with creatine increases these stores, improving strength, power output, and recovery from exercise. The muscle preservation benefits alone make it worth considering for anyone over 30, given that muscle mass is one of the strongest predictors of longevity and functional independence as we age. But the brain evidence is what really caught my attention. Your brain uses enormous amounts of energy, and phosphocreatine plays a significant role in maintaining that energy supply under cognitive demand. Studies have shown that creatine supplementation improves memory and processing speed, particularly in older adults and in people who are sleep deprived. There's also emerging research on its potential role in protecting against neurodegenerative disease. The dose is simple: 3 to 5 grams of creatine monohydrate daily. No loading phase necessary, no cycling, just consistency. And creatine monohydrate is the form with the most research behind it. Do not pay extra for fancier versions. Number 5, collagen peptides with vitamin C. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. It is the structural scaffolding of your skin, your tendons, your ligaments, your cartilage, your blood vessels, and your bones. And your body's ability to produce it declines significantly with age, beginning in your mid-20s and accelerating through your 30s and 40s. The reason I pair collagen peptides with vitamin C is that vitamin C is an essential cofactor for collagen synthesis. Without adequate vitamin C, your body cannot properly assemble collagen even if the raw materials are available. Taking collagen without vitamin C is leaving a significant portion of the benefit on the table. The evidence for collagen supplementation has grown substantially in recent years. Studies show improvements in skin, elasticity, and hydration, reductions in joint pain, particularly in athletes and older adults, and improved recovery from connective tissue injuries. For anyone doing regular resistance training or dealing with joint discomfort, the evidence here is genuinely compelling. I take 10 grams of collagen peptides with a vitamin C source in the morning. The timing around exercise appears to improve uptake into connective tissue specifically. Number 6. Berberine. This one surprises people. Berberine is a compound extracted from several plants and has been used in traditional medicine for centuries. But what brought it to my attention was the modern research on its metabolic effects, which are striking. Berberine activates an enzyme called AMPK, which is essentially a master metabolic switch in your cells. It improves insulin sensitivity, lowers fasting blood glucose, reduces LDL cholesterol, and has demonstrated anti-inflammatory effects. Multiple studies have compared berberine directly to metformin, one of the most commonly prescribed diabetes medications in the world, and found comparable effects on blood sugar control. I want to be clear. If you've diagnosed type 2 diabetes, you should be working with your doctor, not replacing medication with supplements. But for someone with insulin resistance or prediabetes who wants to support their metabolic health alongside dietary and lifestyle changes, the evidence for berberine is among the strongest I have seen for any non-prescription compound. The dose used in most studies is 500 milligrams 2 to 3 times daily with meals. And because berberine can interact with certain medications, particularly those that affect blood sugar or blood pressure, please check with your doctor if you are on any prescription drugs. Number 7. Ashwagandha. I am generally cautious about adaptogen supplements. The category is full of overclaiming and underdelivering. But ashwagandha is the exception that the evidence actually supports. Ashwagandha is a root extract that has been shown in multiple randomized controlled trials to meaningfully reduce cortisol levels, improve subjective stress and anxiety scores, improve sleep quality, and in men, raise testosterone levels modestly. The mechanism involves its effect on the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, the system that regulates your stress hormone response. For anyone dealing with chronic stress, disrupted sleep, or the kind of persistent low-grade cortisol elevation that modern life reliably produces, the evidence here is genuinely useful. I've taken it during particularly demanding periods, and the effect on sleep depth and stress resilience is something I notice clearly. The form to look for is KSM66, or Sensoril, which are the standardized extracts used in most of the clinical research. Generic ashwagandha powder of unknown standardization is not the same thing. Number 8. Zinc. Zinc is a mineral involved in over 200 enzymatic processes, including immune function, DNA synthesis, wound healing, testosterone production, and taste and smell perception. Deficiency is more common than most people realize, particularly in people eating plant-heavy diets, since plant sources of zinc contain phytates that significantly reduce absorption. The immune function evidence for zinc is among the strongest of any micronutrient. Adequate zinc is essential for the development and function of immune cells. Zinc deficiency impairs virtually every arm of your immune response, and supplementing zinc at the onset of illness has been shown in multiple trials to reduce the duration and severity of respiratory infections. I do not take zinc daily year-round. I take it during periods of higher immune demand, during winter months, during periods of high stress, or at the very start of feeling unwell. Chronic high-dose zinc supplementation can interfere with copper absorption, so this is one where more is not better and cycling makes sense. Number 9. Lion's mane mushroom. I want to be transparent about this one. Human research is less mature than for everything else on this list, but the mechanism is compelling enough and the safety profile strong enough that I include it. Lion's mane contains compounds called hericenones and erinacines that have been shown in animal studies and preliminary human trials to stimulate the production of nerve growth factor, a protein essential for the growth, maintenance, and survival of neurons. The potential implications for cognitive health and neurodegeneration are significant enough that serious researchers are paying close attention. A small randomized controlled trial showed improvements in cognitive function in older adults with mild cognitive impairment, taking lion's mane extract over 16 weeks. The research is early, but for a supplement with an excellent safety profile and a biologically plausible mechanism targeting one of the most important health concerns of aging, I think the evidence justifies inclusion. I take it in the morning and have done consistently for the past 2 years. Number 10. Fiber supplement, specifically Psyllium husk. This might be the least glamorous entry on this list, but the evidence behind it is arguably stronger than almost anything else here, and it is profoundly underappreciated. Psyllium husk is a soluble fiber that forms a gel in your digestive system. It feeds beneficial gut bacteria, improves bowel regularity, significantly lowers LDL cholesterol, improves blood sugar control by slowing glucose absorption, and increases satiety, which helps with weight management. The FDA has approved a health claim for psyllium husk and cardiovascular disease risk, which is a bar very few supplements ever clear. A healthy gut microbiome is increasingly recognized as one of the most important foundations of long-term health. Microbiome diversity is linked to metabolic health, immune function, mental health, and inflammatory status. And the single most effective dietary intervention for improving microbiome health is increasing soluble fiber intake. Most people eating a modern diet are getting a fraction of the fiber their gut bacteria need to thrive. I take 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk in a large glass of water every morning. It is inexpensive, widely available, and the evidence behind it would embarrass most premium supplements on the market. And now, as I promised, the supplement most people are wasting their money on. Multivitamins. Not because vitamins are unimportant. They are essential. But because the research on multivitamin supplementation in people eating a reasonably varied diet consistently fails to show meaningful benefits for longevity, cardiovascular disease, cancer, or cognitive decline, the doses in most multivitamins are too low to correct actual deficiencies. The forms used are often poorly bioavailable, and the combination of fat-soluble and water-soluble vitamins in a single tablet creates absorption competition that reduces the effectiveness of individual components. If you have a specific deficiency, address it specifically with a targeted supplement at an evidence-based dose. A multivitamin is not a nutritional insurance policy. It is mostly expensive urine. So here is the complete picture. Vitamin D3 with K2, magnesium glycinate, omega-3 fatty acids, creatine monohydrate, collagen with vitamin C, berberine, ashwagandha, zinc, lion's mane, psyllium husk. 10 supplements. Each one chosen because the evidence is substantial, the mechanism is real, and the benefit is meaningful enough to justify the habit and the cost. None of them are miracle products. None of them replace food, sleep, movement, or stress management. But used intelligently, in the right context, at the right dose, they are genuinely worth your attention. The supplement industry wants you confused. Confused people buy more products. What I want for you is clarity. Know what you are taking, know why you are taking it, and know what the evidence actually says. If this video gave you that clarity, please subscribe. This channel exists to translate 13 years of clinical experience into information that actually changes health outcomes. Hit subscribe. Share this with someone who is spending money on supplements without a framework for knowing what works. Because your health deserves better than good marketing, and so does your wallet. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.